One.
Welcome to Reset to Healthy Your Relationship Sunday night at 9, the show where we dive into real, raw, and sometimes messy world of relationships. Whether you're single, dating, married, or somewhere in between, we're here to share stories, insights, and conversations that help you navigate love, connection, and everything in between. I am your host, Coach Glenda, and each episode will explore the highs, lows, and lessons that come with building meaningful relationships. So grab a seat, get comfy, and let's talk about love.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rufus Carbonone. I'm the actual course manager here, and tonight we're going to do it just a tad bit different than we normally do it. We're starting a new set called Reset, Reconnect, and Rise. That's the format we got, and the format is an excellent format because we started out doing a lot of discussion and teaching, but we didn't give you practical tools. From this way forward, we're going to give you practical tools. And the night's going to be a great night. It's going to be an excellent night. As a matter of fact, the topic for the night is rebuilding trust after hurt. We all been there. We all been there. Whether it's hurt from a family member, whether it's hurt from a friend, or whether it's hurt from your husband or your wife, your girlfriend or your boo, or whatever it is, we've all been there. So tonight we all can identify with how do you handle the hurt? Rebuilding the trust. It's not easy. It's not easy. When you're talking about that, because trust is the foundation of every relationship, whether it's family, a friend, a coworker. That's it. And it's trust with yourself and trust with the other person. A lot of times when you build trust, it's broken and we get angry, we get upset, we get uncertainty about that family member, that friend, or that person that we feel that broke the trust. How can we rebuild that? The way is one small step at a time. One small step at a time. Honest word, or this day by day. We're going to build it up. And tonight, that's what we're going to work on tonight. So the first part of this is, how do you reset after your trust has been broken and after you feel like you're hurt? How do you reset? First thing, you got to acknowledge the hurt. That's right out the gate. You got to acknowledge, I'm hurting. It hurt me some kind of way. It hurt me. And you don't have to rush to heal. You don't have to say, well, hey, I'm gonna suck it up and move on. You don't have to rush to heal. Allow yourself time to feel that disappointment. Release the blame. Even if it's you or if it's your partner, what it is, release the blame. Because remember, forgiveness isn't so much for them, it's for you. So once again, the reset part of this is, after you've been hurt and you want to rebuild that trust, the first thing is acknowledge the hurt. You lied on me, you broke a covenant, you said you wouldn't do this, you cheated, or whatever it is. Acknowledge it. And you don't have to rush to heal. Hey, wait, right now is not a great time to talk because I'm still processing the hurt. I'm still going through it, and allow yourself to feel the disappointment and then release the blame. And that's the reset part. Because remember, we're gonna break this show this from this point on Sunday night at 9 with Coach Glenda. It's gonna be three parts. It's gonna be a reset, which is the part where you figure it out, you reset, you back up, you dust yourself off, you take a deep breath. As a matter of fact, before we go any further, let's do some breathing ritual, because I know this is a strong topic. We all been hurt. As a matter of fact, as I'm talking it, I can think of times I've been hurt myself. A coldness come over me when I think about how I'm gonna rebuild trust after hurt. Because I'm a kind of Teflon kind of man. Stuff fall off my back. I just let it roll off. So when somebody really hurt me, it's not just they lied or I missed or they missed whatever. It's a real hurt. It's something of value has come from that relation, has lost in a relationship. So when that happens, let's do the first thing. Let's breathe. Let's breathe together. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. In, out. That's one. One more time, or 2 more times. Breathe in, breathe out. You should be relaxing a little bit. All right, one more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, can you think of one reason right now, one reason why you're still standing this week? Can you think of one reason why you made it this week? Can you think of one reason why you're doing so well this week? And I want you to put it in chat. I want you to put one reason why you think you're still standing. One thing about this week. It can be a small thing. Put it in chat. What are you grateful for this week? What are some gratitude prompts, things that you had this week? Put it in chat. Put it in chat. Whatever it is, put it in chat. Put it in chat. I know for this week, for me, I went to a 70s birthday party, and I was my cousin, and I went there, and oh my Lord, you know, he's 70, I'm 71, and majority of people around with that time were like 60 to 75 in that 70s party, and they all dressed like 70s. So when I talked to my cousin, we sit down and talk. We said, "Man, it looked like yesterday we were out playing as kids. Then seemed like the day after that we turned into our parents. Then the next day we became senior citizens. Right now we're talking about the aches and pains. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can look back over my life, and I'm not in church like them old ladies get up. When I look back over my life, he's been good to me. Yeah, he has been good to me. But I just want to bring that part out, okay? Now that we brought that part out, let's get back into reset, reconnect, and rise. Again, the reconnect part. I mean, I'm just so excited. The reset part is acknowledge the hurt. Don't rush to heal. Allow yourself time to feel disappointed and release the blame. All right, let's reconnect. How do we get back into it? How do we dust ourselves off and get back into it? First thing is, you open the door to honesty. You have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself and with the person. Because if you're still hurting, hey guy, you took me for a tailspin with that one. Hey, I'm still hurting a little bit. So I just want to let you know. Okay? And first, it's about yourself. Be honest with yourself. That really hurt me. That really did. That took something from me. I lost a part of me in that. I lost something of value. You're very valuable to me. Now it's almost like damaged goods. And I'm exaggerating a little bit, but because I want you to get this. This is very important. You need to get this. Okay? Name your needs. When you're talking to the person or even talking to yourself in the mirror, what do you need? What do you need to reconnect? You know, you open the door to honesty. You're honest with yourself first. Darn, that really hurt me. Man, I took a licking with that one. Man, Band-Aids ain't gonna do this. You know, clarity. What is clarity? How can you communicate gently with yourself or with the other person? If the other person hurt you, how do you say, hey, look, Sally, you know, Sally, I need to take a minute to vent. I need to let you know. I'm not blaming because I released the blame, but I want to reconnect. I want us to get back to this. I want us to rebuild that trust. And it's going to take the day. It's not going to happen today. I understand that. One day at a time, one moment at a time. And that's how you reconnect. That's how you reconnect. Okay, and I know you guys saying, well, he's taking us through it slow. And the reason I'm taking you through it slow, because this is the first time we use this format, and I want you to actually get this. As we go along, you'll get it, but I just want you to get it tonight. And I'm going to open up and let you talk about it in a minute, but I just want to make sure that I set the stage for the reset, reconnect, and the next is rise. How do you rise? How do you rebuild through consistency? They have to be consistent, because if you're honest with me right now and then you kind of deceitful and untrustworthy going forward, it's up and down. The energy, I can't match the energy. But if from this point on, your consistency is good, you have loving acts, I can feel it. I can see the small proof of your honor, your worth. I can see the value you are to me and the value I am to you. I can see that. That's when you rise. You rise through consistency, how you show up. A lot of people say, I can tell by what you come to do by the way you show up. High energy, smiling, great attitude. Hey, when you come over, you don't come over with empty hands. You bring something. If your girl is cooking for you tonight and you're going over, you're bringing something. You might bring some dessert, or you might whatever it is that you know what's special to her, or you know what's special to him. You bring something. It's you just want to show gratitude. I know I went through a lot with this. The reset, reconnect, and rise. What are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts about reset, reconnect, and rise? And we're going to talk about this in a minute. And we got another exercise we're going to talk about it. What are your thoughts so far? What are your thoughts? Anybody want to unmute and share your thoughts about this? Is it clear?
I will.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Okay. You know what? I was just listening to you, and I listened to you use the word hurt multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always thought something was wrong with me. I thought it was strange because, to me, once I got to know myself and know how I am and why I feel the way I feel, I really don't feel when something is done to me, I don't really feel hurt because hurt is a feeling. To me, I feel like that's an emotion that we supposed to have, and as human beings. But I just get mad. But once I get mad and I'm over it, then it's like it never happened.
Okay. And I'm glad you said some interesting things there. You said it's not hurt for you because you have built a tolerance for it now. You have
Yeah.
built a tolerance. You're not gonna let them steal your peace.
No.
You figure it's not worth my peace for me to let them know they hurt me, or let them have that heart hurt of me. And you're
Right.
mad is your way to shake it off right quick. I can shake it off because we
Oh,
get
well,
mad at things. Go ahead, Sharon.
yeah. Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. When I get mad, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not destructive or nothing like that, but you really have to hear my mouth or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
once it's out of once I'm done with it, it's like it never happened. We friends the next day. I don't care, and I ain't forgot now. But I ain't forgot by a long shot. But I'm okay with the person. I'm okay with it.
So what would be your reset in that scenario you just gave me? What would be your reset?
Um, um, my reset would be it's not work. Letting go. Letting
Okay.
it go.
All right. All right. So right then you feel, hey, you've not blaming anybody, you're just letting it go right there. Now, how do you reconnect? How do you open that door to honestly
Um,
going back?
Because I'm straightforward, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
like I ain't gonna whisper to the next door neighbor or nobody. I'm going straight to the source, and once I let them know how I felt and why I felt they were wrong, or vice versa, then it's over with. Once we done talked about it. Now, if you don't want to talk about it, you want to act like a kid or something, then you just gotta stay away from me because I'm not into all that.
That's perfect because you said some magic things. When you went to them, straight to them, you went straight to them. That's clarity. And you
Yeah,
communicated that with them. So that's
yeah.
reset 100. That's reconnect 100%. Now, how did you rise? How did you rebuild that trust? So how did you get that loving action going back?
Because I believe in God, and we should love each other regardless.
Awesome, 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 awesome. And that's great, Sharon. I like the way you brought that out. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're trying to do tonight. Anyone else feel like they want to share? And I use hurt. And I'm using this a lot because I'm over exaggerating because I want to get this out. And this is our first time using this format, and I just want to see how it flows. Okay. Now that's really nice. That's really sharp. Okay, let's let Glenda talk about some prompts, and then We'll go into something what I'm talking. Something we got called accountability, the ladder, the trust ladder. We're gonna go into that, but let Glenda talk about some prompts first.
Okay, we have what does trust mean to you personally? Now, that's a question. If someone wants to share what trust means to them personally, I want them to put that in the chat. I may give you like 60 seconds to throw something in the chat if possible.
I'm not good at chatting. I'm not good at putting stuff in the chat when we're doing this because I get excited. But once you get everybody out, if you don't mind, I'll say what mine is.
Question again is, what does trust mean to you personally?
Okay, give everybody a chance.
Yeah, I'm giving them
Okay.
a chance. All right, let's see what we have. Honesty. We have honesty in the chat.
Okay. Okay, mine is consistency. Consistency for me is how you show up. Because if you show up consistent every time, I can depend on that. And that's to me is trust. I can trust who you are. I can trust you being authentic. I can trust you in a bad situation because I already know pretty much how you're going to react. I can trust you when times are tight. I can trust you when times are good. It's how you show up, that consistency for me. Any more in there? Any more other than
Yes, in the chat we have being dependable and a strong bond.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Awesome. Awesome.
Okay, that was great. Thank you so much for your feedback and your comments. Okay, can you think of a time you began trusting again yourself or someone else after being hurt?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Can you think of a time you began trusting again yourself or someone else after hurt?
That's a good one.
It is. It really is, because it's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's when reset, reconnect, and rise is very, very important.
Right.
That's when they come in. That's anybody want to share any examples of that one? Because that's a unique one. That's strong. Anybody want to share any examples? Anybody unmute and talk about this for a minute? Because that's a strong one there. Also,
Somebody might have to go in their archives and pull that one out because they were trying to forget about
not
it.
really, not really. You remember those kind of things. You
Once
can.
again, somebody has to go into their archives because they don't want to.
I'll start us off. I'll start off.
Go ahead.
Mine is lying. If a person lied to me once and I catch them in a lie, and I said, look, hold up now. Come on, girl. You lying. You know you're lying. I know you're lying. And here's the reason why. And they said, okay, nope, no problem. No problem. Okay, I'm not gonna lie anymore. And I begin to trust them and I depend on them again, and they lie again. This is real, by the way. I'm not making this up. And they lied again.
Uh-huh.
And my thoughts were, do I cut it right now? Do I have hope? So me and my dumb butt, I said, okay, I give him another shot. And what Angela Maya, what's that lady, Angela Milo, what's that lady name?
Angela, I know what you're talking about. Maya Angelou or something like that.
When she said, when a person show you who they are, believe them.
Oh.
This person lied and lied and lied. So guess what? They showed me who they were.
Continuously.
About 6 times, I begin to believe them. True
Remember,
story.
I have a motto. I say I don't count past 2. You got 2 times, and that's being gracious.
Okay.
All right. Did someone else want to share? Okay, someone put it in the chat. I hate when someone makes a promise that they don't keep.
Oh, that's a monumental one. That is so true. That is so true. And now, how do you handle that? Anyone answer? How do you handle that when they promise and don't keep it? And if it's 1 or 2 times and they didn't keep it, how do you handle it? Do you just let it go? Do you reset, reconnect, and rise, or you just rise out?
I guess it depends on what they broke the promise on. Because I've broken a promise, not broken a promise. I've had a promise broken to me, and I cut them off totally afterwards because I felt as if they wasn't dependable. I mean, I called the relationship quits after that because it was a deal breaker for me.
For some reason, I think Johnny's still on. Is Johnny you on? Because I think Johnny can answer this one pretty good for us. For some reason, something tell me Johnny can answer this one. He's still on?
I think he is.
He's up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny, you don't have to. Would you elaborate on this? Because you that kind of guy. I think you.
Hello, hello.
Yeah,
Look, I wasn't paying attention to the phone, but I heard my name. What was going on?
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. This part right here where it says, can you think of a time you begin trusting a person and yourself and something else? A time where Felicia said that in check that she hates when a person promise something, they don't come through with it. When they break the promise over and over, she said she hate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew you the kind of guy. You're a straight shooter, so I knew you could answer that question pretty good. How do you handle that?
How you handle that with some? See, but like this thing is with me is different from most people
Uh-huh.
because I truly believe in speaking a blessing on people. And a person can lie, mistreat me, and I still try to speak a blessing on, look for the best in them. And a lot of people cannot understand that.
And that's why I wanted you to bring that out, because I could tell you had a different perspective on this one. I really knew that. And I'm glad you shared that. And that's why this is very important, because we all deal with things differently. We all have a different take on things. We all see things from our own lens. Some of us have rose-colored glasses. Some of us, you out of the gate, they're gonna cut you out. So we're different people, and that's why this reset, reconnect is very important. The rise is very important. How do you deal with it for you? What's honesty for you? And that's why that's important. What did Gigi say?
I really don't deal with a person who hasn't been honest. Not saying is a sin or a sin of omission.
Okay. All right. And that's why this is very important. Rebuilding trust, because and we wanted to start this new framework off with this one because we knew everybody's been hurt by something, someone, somehow. And whether that's a hurt that made you mad,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a hurt that turned you inward, or
Mm-hmm.
whether that hurt put you in depression, or whatever that hurt did to you, how did you recover? How'd you reconnect? How'd you rise? And that's what the night's about. All right, Glenda, next.
Wait, I would like to say something. Hey, so I have been in that position where I have lied to someone, hurt someone, and I know they depended on whatever I said to them, and I didn't come through with it, and knew I didn't do it. But at later times, I've felt bad about it. I didn't go to them and say, "Hey, I apologize," or "I should have did da 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 da." I just carried the weight of it. I've been lied to and depended on people where they haven't come through and they haven't come back and said, "I'm sorry," or "I shouldn't have did this," or whatever. And I depended on them, and they never came back to say, "I know you depended on me, and I just couldn't do it, or I didn't want to do it, or nothing." So I still feel those things and think about those things, even though it's been so long ago that I've done it and that it's been done to me. I think I never get over that kind of thing. So I don't know about that rising and rebooting and all that kind of stuff, reconnecting with that or something like that. I just know that that's what it did. However, for me personally, it makes me now I pay attention to what I say, and I try not to do something that make myself turn out to be a lie, to
Right.
somebody or something like that. That's all I can say. Okay.
Good comment. Great comment, and that great comment. And the reason why that's a great comment, because Sunday Night at 9 with Coach Glenda is not all about being booed up. It's not all about your husband or your wife. It's about relationships in general.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you have a friend that hurt you or you hurt a friend, or whether it's a coworker. And Lord have mercy if it's a family member. If it's a family member, that closeness there, you see them so regularly, and that hurt every time you see them, that honesty, distrust, and all that is there. So that's why this is so important. That's why we came out with rebuilding trust after hurt, because eventually life goes on. One of Al Green songs, and life goes on, and that's what we're talking about. Okay, anybody else want to comment on this one before Glenn to get to the next one? Okay, Glenda.
All right. What boundaries help you feel emotionally safe? What boundaries help you feel emotionally safe? I know for myself, saying no.
Okay. After the second time or the first time? I'm sorry. Something told me to say that.
Of course. No, for me, the first time. I had to learn how to say no. So in the beginning, it used to be like the second or third time, but now at this day and age, it's the first time.
Okay, this is a good one. For me, is being over the assessed, being over the top, because I'll give a person a shirt off my back. And I've realized that when you do that, people take advantage of you.
Yes.
I will give a person my last.
Yes.
It wouldn't bother me because that's who I am. That's how I was developed. I'm raised that way, to be a servant, to actually help people, to want to see people do better. So I go beyond. And that's my boundary, is to realize I got to reel it back in. Rufus, don't be no fool. Hold up now. You've done your part. Let somebody else help them along. But that's what my boundary is. My boundary is, how do you control that? Because too much of anything is bad.
Yes.
So that's my boundary, is how do I reel that in? How do I stop that? How do I find a stopping point? How do I find that place where enough's enough? How do I find that? Because if I keep getting the shirt off my back, I ain't gonna have no clothes to wear. I'd be a naked man quick. So how do I fix that? And that's where we're at. And you're right, Felicia. People will take your kindness for weakness. And the deal is, you meaning it for good. You're really trying to help people, and you being kind, thinking you're helping them, and they saying, "Well, I got me a sucker right here." And here's the bad thing: not only do they sucker, they get you. They tell their friends about you.
Mm-hmm.
So not only they leeching or getting you, then their friends are getting you. So you being dogged out around, and you think you helping people, but really you being used. So that's correct. So thanks for bringing that one up. Any more comments about this one before Glenda go on to the next one?
There's nothing else in the chat.
Okay.
All right. We have, if trust could speak, what would it ask you to do right now? If trust could speak, what would it ask you to do right now?
Mm. Mm. Be more careful. Reconsider some things.
Those are good ones. Those are
Look
good
before
ones.
you leap.
Think about that, girl.
Walk away. Felicia got a good one. Walk away.
No, run, Forrest, run.
This is a good one. That was a real good one. That was a real good one.
All right, let's see what we got. Someone said walk away. Someone said run. Yep, those are good ones. You're absolutely right.
That must be Gigi.
It was. It was. If
Oh,
trust could speak, what would it ask you to do right now?
Walk away quickly.
Yeah. Don't mess with that. That's dangerous. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Anybody
awesome.
else want to make a comment or add something to the chat? Don't do it. That's right, Ava. Don't do it.
Man, that's I guess we all were born and raised on that one. Don't do it. And not only in my house, they got "don't do it, fool." They put "fool" on the end of it. Don't do it, fool. That's what they said in my house. I don't know about your house. Yeah, I am so glad you brought this up, Glenda. And here's the thing. Here's what somebody say: these times make you vet people before. Oh, that's a real good one. That's a real good one. That's a real good one. You want to expound on that one, Glenda? Because that's really good. That was a real good one.
You want me to expound on it or the person that put it in the chat?
Because we don't want to force people to talk. So, I jumped on Johnny because I knew Johnny had a different perspective, and I knew if we didn't ask me, you would have never got that. So that's why I jumped on Johnny. But I'll look up to you. Do you want Felicia to try, or you want to do it for her?
Felicia, you can try it.
It just basically I mean that, when you meet someone or before you completely allow them into your whole world and start sharing information and things of that nature, you want to try to vet them as much as you can and see what type of person they really are before you give them your heart, because that's when you start trusting someone, when you didn't gave all the secrets, all about the family. They didn't, you just then gave everything up, and then you just want to be able to vet them to make sure that they're worthy of your conversation, your secrets, whatever you have to offer to them, because you got to allow that time period to get to know the person before you can actually start trusting someone, to see if they're going to be worth your time and effort to trust them. That's just what I mean by that.
Oh, I'm glad you said something after you gave the secrets up.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Rufus, you know how I am. I have a question. I asked it once before on the cast. Trust, okay, since we're talking about it, is that something you automatically give when you meet a person? Or is it something they have to gain?
I think it's something they have to gain.
Anybody else want to answer that before me and Glenda jump in? Anyone on the audience want to answer that directly?
Well, that's why I think it's important to kind of vet them, to make sure before before you put your complete trust in somebody. You want to get to see what the person is bringing to the table before you actually say, I trust you with, I'm gonna go to the store and leave you in my house. Do you trust that person to stay in your house and not look through your stuff and just rummage around and so I can leave my neighbors here in my house, and I know, because I trust them. I know that they respect my property, they respect me, and so I don't have to worry about leaving somebody in my house when I'm not here, because I trust that person. I know that they respect me, and and same thing with me. I can go to Glenda's house and stay at her house, and she not be there, but she trusts me, because we built a relationship over a period of time. So, I trust her with my most precious baby named Benji. So I know that's trust right there. So that's all I meant by that.
You brought that one up, Felicia. You brought some some painful memories to me when you said that. I like, I'm trusting. Two girlfriends. This is over what, a 5-10 year period. Had two girlfriends, and I didn't realize that I let them over my house, and I went to work or whatever. And later on, one I didn't know that girl that went through all of my drawers and all my paperwork and all of my stuff. That girl knew more about me than I knew about me. The first one, I said, wow. And I didn't find out until we broke up. And then she told me all my little dirty secrets. I said, what in the world? And then another girl said, you shouldn't let nobody be over your house. I said, why? She said, because I know all your secrets. And then that's when I realized it. And I guess like Mr. King was saying, do you trust them out of the gate, or they got to prove the trust to you? And like Felicia said, you got to vet them. Good old trust in me. I didn't realize that letting them in my house, like they want to search and stuff like that. I can understand that when you or somebody new, you want to find out who you're dealing with. I can understand that. But when you go rambling through their stuff and getting stuff and taking pictures of stuff and memory and all this kind of stuff, that's when they get to be a mint bunch. And I didn't think people did stuff like that, because I wasn't raised that way. So my trusting buddy, I trust people. So I found that out myself. And I'm glad you did that. So thanks, Felicia, and thanks, Mr. Kingdom, for bringing that up. And
I ain't done. I'm waiting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. Okay, then you got the floor. Go ahead.
All right. Now, the question was asked because we're speaking on trust. But I was going to explain it before you tried to go off in left field. You ain't playing no baseball here. All right. Now, here's the reason I asked that question. When you sit down and really think about it, trust is something that you give. Okay. But now let me finish. Let me finish. Because I know somebody got something to say. Let me explain. Trust is something you really give, but it's like building a relationship or a marriage or whatever. Trust is a broad statement. And within that statement, even though you give it, it's something that's got to be more understanding as it goes along. Well, that's where the word earn comes in. You give a minimum, but then you get fully within it. Say, for example, you first meet me on a date. You're going to trust me to meet me, whether you drive and I drive separate vehicles. When we get there, first of all, you're going to trust that I'm going to take care of it because I invited you. Not saying that you ain't prepared to pay on your own, but because I asked you, you're going to trust that I'm going to take care of it. Second of all, trust is something you build. You give it initially, but you also build it. I can give you a house, which is a shell, but then you build that house to make it your own house. You understand? Am I making sense?
You are. Go ahead. You making sense to me.
So that's why I asked the question, because a lot of people are like, no, I don't trust nobody. I don't give nobody no trust. But yet and still, we all have at some point have to give the trust initially, or some type of trust initially. And then you got to build off of it. I can give you a ladder that's 2 feet tall, but now you need to go 6 feet. So now you got to build other steps on that ladder to reach a goal. It's like doing an outline. I can give you a heading to an outline, but then you got to break it off in branches to complete it. I hope I'm explaining that right, but that's my thought on it.
You are.
Basically just saying it's got to be earned.
Yep. You guys, great point. Great point. And that's why this new format we got is coming up, because now we're beginning, not only we begin to recognize what trust is and how do you build trust and earn trust, because you guys said earn and build, and Felicia said that. So it's very important, because a lot of times when we go through our situations with trust, and I said hurt, because I know a lot of times when we go through stuff, we sometimes find ourselves being silent. Like Sharon said, she up and out, boom. Some of us cry. Some of us shed tears when we hurt. It just hurt us so to our little heart, and we just cry. And both, be honest with you, both silence and tears is healing. That's actually one of the steps of healing. Whether you cry or whether you're silent, or whether you just say, "Hey, peace out, I'm taking my marbles and going home. I'm not playing with you anymore." No matter what it is, that really begin to bring some healing in. So don't let that go. Don't let that go. Yes, sir.
Was that Johnny that said you got to earn it?
Yes, sir. That was Johnny.
Okay, for Johnny and the rest of them, how can you earn trust without giving any trust?
Give limited.
Yeah, but they say you got to earn trust. I'm saying you got to give some type of trust for them to earn it. How do they earn it without you giving?
And remember,
well, I mean, you earn it by keeping your, if you're keeping your word, following up, doing the things that you're supposed to, that you're committing to say you're going to do. Because no one's going to give you trust if you're not earning it, earning their trust. So if someone tells you something, and they don't follow through, I mean, the next time they tell you that, you're not going to believe them. So that's a factor of trust.
Right, but notice what you said now. Earning and building is two different things. Okay, earning it, you got to work for it, right?
Right.
Okay, but initially,
Can I say
can
something?
get there, before they can get there to
Yeah,
actually,
Felicia, let him finish in time. When you finish, Mr. Kingdom, turn the floor over to
I make it quick.
Mm-hmm.
In order to earn that trust, you have to give them the opportunity to make that mistake, which means you got to trust that what they're saying is true until you catch them more or less in a lie or something, or catch them not being truthful. So therefore, you have to give them some type of trust.
Right, I agree with that, but I'm saying that if someone's gonna, you're gonna trust them until they don't do what they're saying they're gonna do. So, like I was just stating that if someone's saying, okay, well, they're going to take me out, like you're saying, take me out, and they don't show up, and then they don't show up and take you out, and then they come back the next day, oh, let's do it again, and they still don't show up, or something comes up, or they just keep putting you off. So it's difficult to trust their word if they haven't followed through on the first initial 2 times. So that would be that would be difficult for me to trust your word. You're not following through on what you're stating you're going to do. That's how I look at it.
Gigi,
Right, and you just made my point though.
Let Gigi speak first, and then you talk, Mr. Kingdom. Go ahead, Gigi.
I will.
What I have been through, you know who you can trust, and you know who you can't trust. I had dated a fella, left me in his house. I was sitting there, and I was wondering, well, why did he leave me here? And then when he came back, he was like, well, I knew he wasn't going to do anything. So, if you're trustworthy, a person knows it. You really do.
I think we lost her.
Well, initially,
Felicia, go ahead.
The young lady that spoke previously
I'm
pretty
here.
much answered my point, confirmed my point. You have to give some type of trust to a person to let them know that you're willing to trust them, and they got to build it, meaning they got to keep their word.
Mm-hmm.
She pretty much confirmed my question and what I was saying.
Well, I don't know if it's a confirmation because initially you always give a person the benefit of doubt. So you're gonna you give a benefit of doubt to say, okay.
Initially trust.
Well, I don't know if it may be a form, maybe it is a form of trust, but it's not to the point where like it may be initial trust until you. I mean, you don't have no option. If someone tells you something, you're just gonna you trust what they're saying they're going to do, But like you were saying, when you take somebody out to dinner, that is the assumption or the trust is that you're going to cover that. That's not always the case. Just because you're inviting me out, it's not for me to trust that you're going to cover that meal or you're going to cover that whole date. I'm going to come prepared in case you don't follow up and do what you're going to do. So I can't trust that you're going to take care of that meal just because you invited me out. That ain't always the case. It's from what experienced as a single woman, that has not always been the case. Just I don't expect that always to be the case. So I prepare myself to not, to come prepared if that is not the case. But I see what you're saying. I mean, I understand your point of view, and I don't disagree, everything you have said.
Only thing I was trying to point out, only thing I'm pointing out, and I'm gonna leave it alone and let y'all go on. You got to give a person an opportunity to prove themselves and to gain that trust. Which means now, in order to give them that opportunity, you got to trust them in some form that what they're saying is true until they prove you wrong.
Okay. I can accept that because I think that in the beginning, in the initial phase of relationships and friendships, you do allow some trust and then you build on that. But if I'm just meeting you or going out with you on a first date, you know, I don't trust you that much to give you my ATM card or my social security number or my, and if we met out in public, that doesn't mean I'm gonna give you my home address. I don't know you well enough to, or I don't trust you enough to let you come to my house or know my address because you might do a drive-by. But I
Right.
think that in the beginning that there is the minimal amount of trust. At this point, I think that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. I trust you to do that. But just in case you don't, just like Felicia was saying, just because you asked me to go out and I'm thinking and hoping you're going to flip this bill, just in case you don't, I'm going to be prepared so I can pay for myself. I ain't going to pay for us. I'm going to pay for myself.
I didn't say at what. Let me see how. What? Oh shoot! There is a form of trust, but I didn't say how deep the trust is or how strong the trust is. That's where the building comes. But you do give a form of trust to begin.
Right? And you
You
make
do. The minimal amount in the beginning.
Yeah, I agree with
Right.
that.
We
I,
good.
I agree with you. I
Annette, were
agree
you
with
gonna say something, Annette? Because Annette kept lighting up. Were you gonna say something, Annette?
Yeah, I would like to say, I hear what everybody's saying, but for me, I don't give trust like that at all. No. In the beginning, I go along. I listen to what we're saying or what someone is saying. I go along, but I have no trust in that. That's just me just going along with the program. And if they trusting and believing that I'm trusting them, then they crazy. I'm just listening. I'm going along. I'm not trusting you. No, not in the beginning. For me, you got to earn that. And
Okay.
I know what Mr. Kingdom is saying, but but for me, Mr. Kingdom, the answer is no. I'm not giving you trust from day 1 or day 2 or day 3. I'm going along with the program, but I'm not trusting nothing. That's
And
just
then,
It,
can
the
I ask
yes.
word
you a question
trust and
real
going
quick?
along is the same thing.
Mr. Kingdom, let Glenda ask Annette a question. Go ahead,
And
Glenda.
let me ask you a question. Have you always been that way, or is that something that you learned or started doing at a later date?
Perfect question. I learned that from experience.
Okay.
From the beginning, I gave that trust. I believed I did, but I learned no. Just go along with the program for a minute until you know that this can be a trusting relationship or not. No.
Mr.
Answer
Kingdom, you
that.
were gonna say something before we transition? Because
Now, well, I was
make
looking
it
at
brief, sir.
that. I was looking at the words she was using to go along with the program. Whether you go along with the program or trust, you're still doing the same thing because you got to initially allow them to prove themselves. And then allowing them to prove themselves, you still trust in the program.
Okay.
That's just my take. But then I respect your thought because I can't go against what you've been through to get you where you at. I can't argue with that because we all are individuals and have our own mindset on how we think on situations. But from me being outside looking in and from my past experience and what I know of it, it's still the same thing.
Well, you guys said a lot, and I think the first thing you need an affirmation because Annette said something was key, and she ain't trusting none. But a lot of things you got. The first way to start because the night's topic is rebuilding trust after hurt. Rebuilding trust after hurt, and listen to a lot of us talk. A lot of us said, we talked about ourselves. We internalized and talked about how we felt about it and how it had us going forward. What's our way forward from this? So the first thing I would say is, am I safe to rebuild trust? Am I safe to rebuild trust? And Mr. Kingdom said, earn and build, and he said something about a ladder. And I wasn't gonna go deep tonight, but since he said that, let me try to go deep right quick. Let me go deep right quick. Let me see how deep I can go right quick. Um, Entire screen, share.
You got boots on?
Yeah, right here. Oh shoot, right. What am I doing? Okay. Right here. Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see the screen? Can you see the trust ladder? Can everyone see that?
Go ahead.
Okay, so what we're doing is, how do you rebuild trust? Because Mr. Kingdom said, earn, build, and how do you rebuild trust? So when he said ladder. He said the word ladder. So I said, oh heck. So I was looking, I said, how can I make this real for us tonight? And all we're doing right now is just taking a little small ladder, and we're kind of building rings on the ladder, each rung on the ladder. Then first you start at the bottom. How do you build trust? First, you got to realize what was broken. What was actually broken? Was it for example that they didn't show up? Was it they stopped showing up? The friend wasn't there when you need them. Did they cancel plans? And some of this we talked about. Did they refuse to return messages? Were they emotional, unavailable to you when you really need them? That you always listen to their problems, that they don't never listen to yours. I've shared something and they told other people about it, and they told me they weren't going to tell anybody. Now everybody know my business. I can't have confidence in them anymore because this is the first ring. This is what actually happened. What broke the trust? And that's that bottom part of this. What actually broke their trust? And you're being honest and you're naming it. Like Felicia said, they break their promises. And then the middle, how do you rebuild? What does that look like? How do you rebuild? Does it mean owning your own mistakes in it without being defensive? Does it mean giving space if a person needs that space? Is it showing up consistency with actions? If I can build trust, you can trust me again. Does that keeping confident? Am I being what I say? Do I show up with the energy that, hey, you can trust me now? I'm a man of my word. Is it empathy you have when the person mess up without guilt? These are the things. How do you rebuild? And that's what that middle rung is. How do you rebuild? What does it look like to you? Honestly. And for me, it's consistency. I think Glenda said it's boundaries. And somebody just said, just say no. Somebody said that. So next, the top. What action can you take this week? Because all of us said we've been hurt before. What action can you take this week to make sure this don't happen to you? What is it? What action can you take? Is it sending a heartfelt message to a friend, acknowledging how they let you down? Or is it not fixing things instantly? When somebody mess up, you don't fix it. And because when people mess up around me, a lot of times I fix it and move on. Don't even say anything to them. I just fix it and move on. I take it. I'm like time neck. I take a licking and keep on ticking. But is that helpful? No, it's not. Don't fix. Let them see the break. Let them see the breakdown. Let them see what happened. Let them see the broken process, so they'll know what it is. So they can understand their part in it. Because when you fix it right away, they don't even know. Oh man, shoot! I don't worry about it. Rufus will fix it, and keep on going. But when you don't fix it right away, they understand. But do you open the door? Do you open the door so they can come in and give them a chance to say, I'm sorry? Give them a chance to own or fess up to, hey, hey, I did that. Or do you say, hey, let's plan to meet, let's meet at a Waffle House or a coffee shop or a donut shop, and let's sit down and talk over a cup of coffee. Hell, if you want to take them to a beer, let's go to the pub and get a beer, a sports bar and get a beer, so we can talk it out. Because a lot of times when you start talking and getting communication, people understand that they can hold themselves accountable. They can be focused on rebuilding that connection. And that's all this was tonight about, that ladder. That it's a ladder you can build. You can rebuild trust. You can rebuild if it's worth it. If you see value in that person and you just don't want to throw them out or let them go, there's value there. There's value there. So make sure that you find a way to rebuild that trust. What does that look like for you? Find a way to rebuild it. And that's all we're talking about tonight. How to rebuild that trust. All right. Any questions about that part before I take this off?
I just want to ask you one question.
Yes, sir.
When you're talking about rebuilding trust, are we like directing that towards someone who's broken the trust, or are we talking about rebuilding trust within ourselves as far as newcomers
Great
in our
question.
life?
Sir. Great question. Both.
Both.
Both. It can be either or, both. Great question. Because really, nothing happens until it happened to you first. It happens inside of you, then it come out of you. If it don't happen inside of you, it ain't gonna never make a difference. It never makes a difference. It never ever makes a difference. Anybody, everybody see that ladder? So I can get off of that screen. I just want everybody to understand it.
We saw it.
Okay, good. And that's
Well,
all.
I can say this real quick, and then I'll leave it alone because I know it's getting close to cut off. It goes back to what I've always said and what I'll continuously say. It's about you learning and loving yourself first, knowing what your worth is and what you're doing. Okay? As far as rebuilding. The second part of rebuilding with someone who's broken that trust, it's about the two of you sitting down and communicating and you expressing what they did, how they did, and you each take accountability for what happened. And then you got the communication there and understanding where you now have the mindset to even consider rebuilding that trust and giving them a second chance. That's my take.
Okay. And I'm glad you said that. Let's talk. The final step of this is how to rise again. Starting Monday morning, because this is Sunday night and it's late. It's almost 10 o'clock. So we're gonna pretty much end this. But starting tomorrow morning, what simple steps can you take to start rebuilding trust within yourself? Because Annette says she don't trust nobody, period. She don't give trust, period.
Right.
Point blank it. So if she wanted to make a difference in her life, how does she rebuild it for herself? And
start with herself.
What, sir?
Start with herself.
Right, and that's why I was trying to get that part right there. It's in yourself and the other person too. How do you rebuild trust in the other person? What does that look like? Small, consistent action builds confidence. Small, consistent person. If a person consistent in their action and deed and loving kindness, it builds confidence. And the confidence is what's needed. So starting tomorrow, the mantra is, hey, today I trust myself first. I trust myself first. So let that be your Monday morning mantra. I believe in myself first. Communicate. I ask for clarity instead of assuming. Don't just assume person gonna do something. Ask for clarity. So you're telling me that you're gonna show up tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, correct? Don't assume they're gonna show up at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Ask them. And boundaries, boundary check. Does this choice make my body feel safe? And talking about the secrets, Felicia. Is this choice gonna make my body feel safe?
Right.
So that's what we're talking about, Glenda. Turn it back over to you, Glenda.
Okay. No problem. Give me
Well, while Glenda's getting together, any questions or any concerns about the night or anything anybody want to bring up right quick before we start taking this home?
Now, someone did put in the chat, for me, trust is building blocks of relationships, and I do agree with you on that. All right, as we move along and bring tonight to an ending, as we close tonight, take a deep breath. You've already begun rebuilding trust by showing up tonight. Healing isn't instant, but it's a motion. It's in motion. Carry your peace into Monday morning and let your actions remind you you are becoming stronger, wiser, softer, and much more. Until next Sunday at 9, keep resetting, reconnecting, and rising. You are never alone. Good night, everyone.
Wait, time out, Glenda, time out. Next Sunday night will be on the high seas.
Wow.
Yeah, next Sunday night we'll be on the high seas. We'll be broadcasting somewhere in the ocean on Carnival Vista. So we're gonna broadcast next week, but it's gonna be live from somewhere in the ocean on Carnival ship Vista.
Yes,
That's
our
a big ship.
Reset Relationship Cruise.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
How many people y'all got going on that cruise, if you don't mind me asking?
About 20.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Very.
So next week, make sure everything's the same. You log in the same. Even if you're not going, you log in the same. We're going to do it in high seas. We'll be on the Carnival Vista having a ball, y'all. All right, that's it, Glenda.
All right. Good night, everyone. And I will see you next week, Sunday night at 9. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.